What's up, everybody? Welcome back in. Happy Monday to everybody. Hopefully, you guys are doing well for this Monday. And voila, I'm here. Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome for joining me today. It's a little bit of a tech talk for a Monday. I'm going to be going over, how my experience has been with Mobile X since the changes. Let you guys know if there's like any weirdness that I've experienced or anything like that. All that will be covered in the primary story of today's podcast. And I thought I would, get a little bit more personal with you guys and share a little bit of a story, why I got into mobile tech per se, the interest in it, and what did it do for me all these years that, that I've been talking about it, making videos about it for well over 2 decades, just about. So I'll be talking about that a little bit. And, just kind of giving my thoughts a little bit more on the Pixel 9a as more and more leaks are happening with the Pixel 9a. And I'm hearing all types of things spun about it and, just kind of like answer what do I think about these things as far as the rumors go when it comes to the Pixel 9a. So all that in today's podcast. Happy Monday for you guys. We'll kind of get into it. But before I do, a couple of things that I would like to ask you guys. You guys could definitely help out the channel by smashing that like button. And it does really, really help out in order for more people to discover the channel, discover the podcast show, and be able to come and enjoy and watch it. As well as if you guys want to try out Helium Mobile for a month free. Yes, I still use Helium Mobile too as well. And right there is the QR code to take you to the website upon signing up. Into the description, you guys use my promo code. It will get you guys your first month for free on me, as a gift to you guys for stopping by and hanging out on the podcast show. So right there, QR code, scan it, get the sign up today, try them out. And yeah, best part is, if you're someone that dabbles, well, you don't really have to dabble with crypto, but you can earn crypto just for mapping it. And one of the cool things is that you can convert that for like passive income to have a little bit of extra cash in your pocket. So definitely check it out. Helium Mobile. Awesome, right? Let me get the chat pulled out in case anybody wants to like chat in or say whatever, say what's up. It's been a very interesting weekend. Of course, not that long ago I dropped my 3 days with the Google Pixel 7. SIM card's back inside of it. Everything's functioning and working properly. I have no problems in it at all whatsoever. The thing is that I am noticing with the Pixel 9a and a lot of the leaked things about the Pixel 9a, right? Like the new colorways for the A series devices, the design language of the device, and some of the internal components that people are a little bit concerned about. And I'm going to touch base with that here in this segment right now before we dive into the whole Mobile X thing. So first off, the Pixel 9a obviously, is continuing the trend in the A series devices. And the initial reason for the A series existence by Google is to have a Google Pixel device that is not as expensive as the flagship. However, giving you the same experience that you would get if you purchased the flagship, which out of all the manufacturers out there, they are the closest to reach that level. You have iPhone and you have the SE models, and those are special editions, so like a throwback, However, they can get a bit pricey. Pixel A series is kind of climbing up that ladder and kind of matching the SE models from Apple. So before, it used to be a significant price difference and something that you can definitely be happy about, right? The $399 was the price of the Pixel 3a, $349 was the price of the Pixel 4a. Then it went back to I believe it was $399 for the Pixel 5a, or I could be wrong on that. Is that, or was it? Yeah, I think it was that. And then $449 on the Pixel 6a, then $499 for the 7a, $499 for the 8a, which the 8a came with another price on it too, $549, and that was for a 256 model. So we did see a change up in the A series devices, and now we're seeing another change up again with the design language of the Pixel 9a. That's one of the things that people are talking about, is that it doesn't have the camera bar. And some people who are diehard Pixel fans and recognize Google Pixel devices because of the camera visor feel like that no one is going to recognize this device as a Pixel device. Here's my thing and my thought process on that. It's a phone, okay? Maybe I'm getting older. Maybe my mindset has warped from what it used to be 15 years ago or whatever. But right now, I'm the type of person that I really don't care if people can identify what smartphone I'm using. I am not using a phone to please the world or to please everybody out there walking the streets. I use the phone for my own satisfaction and my own enjoyment, right? If I use it for entertainment, my enjoyment. If I use it for banking, for social media, for content creating, that's my satisfaction. So to me, it has always been, I worry about for me. I don't worry about for everybody else out there. I don't need people to recognize that I'm using a Google Pixel phone to know that I'm using a Google Pixel phone. There was a time where smartphones, and it's still happening today, it's just manifested itself in such a different way that it's not really put out there the way it used to be. But there was a time where your status in life was based upon the type of phone that you used. People would automatically assume that you were a successful person if you rocked an iPhone. If you had an iPhone in your pocket, you were successful, hands down. It didn't matter if the person that was rocking the iPhone, financed the phone and was making $20 payments a month to outright own the phone. The fact that they had an iPhone in their pocket, people assumed they were successful, they had money, their life was going in the right direction. And if you had Android, you were a scrub, a bum, someone who couldn't afford an iPhone, so you went with the next best thing, which was an Android device. And it was always painted as that for such a long time, and it's in such a crazy way. What up, man? That it just feels stupid when you really just step out of the damn box for a second and kind of just look at how that was projected way back in the day. It was dumb. So nowadays it's really just no longer pushed in that context. However, that context still lives in the minds of people. And so now it's more of just like, I want to show off my phone. So certain characteristics of the phone needs to be present in a design in order for people to know, hey, I'm using that phone. And it really shouldn't be that. When you're using a phone, you're using it for you. And that's what really should matter. And I'm not looking for a camera bar to identify I'm using a Google Pixel phone. I am smart enough to know that what I'm using is a Pixel phone, or I'm using a Motorola or an iPhone, etc. I know what I'm using when I'm using it. And that should all that really counts. So the fact that, those that have asked me about how do I feel about the design change up, I don't care. As long as I can answer my phone calls, as long as I can send a message, as long as I can chat with family and friends, as long as I have a nice display that I can see what I'm looking at as far as whatever app I'm in, as long as the phone is smooth, as long as the data connection is fine, I am a happy camper. I don't care what the phone looks like. Google Pixels can change up their design again and put the camera sensors in the center of the phone. People will be like, that's ugly. You're right. If it's ugly to you, don't buy it. Save your money and buy something that you like. There are options out there. There always will be options out there. And I feel like that people need to explore those options, because there's too many people that's just running out saying this is the best phone ever, and they haven't really used anything else out there. It's been that way for such a long time. There are still iOS users today who still bitch and complain that, you know, Android sucks so bad. They had an Android once and it crapped out on them. And they're talking about an experience they had back in 2014 when they signed up with Cricket and got the free phone that Cricket was offering. Obviously, it was going to have the most shittiest processor and the most shittiest modem and, you know, the most shittiest GPU. And they labeled Androids to be all that. And we know the wise ones, the smart ones, we know that's not the full capabilities of Android and the Android experience, right? Easy for them to say that, you know, Apple is, you know, hands down the most powerful, best phone in the world, because there's only one model iPhone, like not model iPhone, but like one iPhone out there, right? There's not, you know, a Motorola iPhone. There's not a freaking Samsung iPhone, right? They're not making hardware and then housing iOS on it. So that, you know, Apple controls everything about it. And one of the things that Apple is known for is that Apple doesn't make budget devices, and they actually like detest budget devices. This is the reason why their answer to a budget device is the SE model. An iPhone SE is their way of saying, yeah, we're going to put something budget out. But at the same time, too, that only comes every couple of years. It's like Halley's Comet. It doesn't come every year. There's like a large gap between each of the SE models, whereas on the A series with Pixels, there's a model every year, an updated model. So Apple detests budget devices. I've known this for so many years that I've been following tech. That's the reason why that they do every couple of years for the SE model. The only one time they ever tried a budget and they quickly killed that project off after the reception of the iPhone 5C wasn't what you know, well, they knew it was going to flop. They just wanted Apple people to be like, this is the reason why we don't dabble with budget devices, because they don't bring the best experience. And that's all Apple cares about, is bringing you the best experience. So here you guys go. You guys have iPhone 5C. Y'all didn't like it. Cool. We're done with it. We're not going to do it again. We're not going to attempt it again. And that has been Apple's thing for the longest time. Whereas on the Android side of things, they will play around with all sides of the market, because they know that there are people out there that can't afford certain phones. And so they will make something that's more affordable for them to use. Obviously, to get to that price point, of course, they're going to be using something that's less powerful. And in the world of Android, you got to pay to play type of thing. Okay, so, well, I'm kind of like reverted way the fuck out there when it comes to that. Going back to design doesn't fucking matter. It does not whatsoever. The next thing on that list of the Pixel 9a is, how do I feel about, you know, them not using the same modem that's in the Pixel 9? So yes, they are using the Tensor G4. Rumor has it they're using the same modem they use in the Pixel 8a, which I have my Pixel 8a here. And I can tell you guys that with it being on Mobile X, with it being on Metro by T-Mobile, or Helium Mobile, whichever two, because both run on T-Mobile's network, with it being in you know, on Boost Mobile on the AT&T network, I have had phenomenal reception everywhere I've gone in my area, whether I'm in, you know, in the Phoenix zone, if I'm in Tempe, Mesa, Ahwatukee, Avondale, Peoria, Glendale, Anthem. I've gone out to Sedona. I've gone up north to Flagstaff. You know, I've gone south to Sierra Vista, Bisbee. I've been all over the state of Arizona with that Pixel 8a and have had great connection. Okay. Now, $1 million question here. Does my Pixel 8a get warm when the reception is low and weak? Yeah, it does. For those who want confirmation on that, it does. Because it's sapping battery more and more and more. Which I can understand why people are like, well, we want the new modem on the Pixel 9, because that seems to be doing very well. and that the phones don't overheat. But I want to hear that statement from someone who has a Google Pixel 9, not the 9 Pro, not the 9 Pro XL, but the Google Pixel 9. And the reason why is that the Pro models are the ones that have the vapor cooling chamber. The Pixel 9 doesn't. So I want to know from someone who has a Pixel 9, please comment on this podcast. If you're in the weak signal of your network connection, does your Pixel 9 warm up? That's the $1 million question back at everyone who's asked me. Because I'm not going for the Pixel 9. I'm actually going for the Pixel 9a. I am going to get the Pixel 9a, but that is one of the things that people are a bit stressed out and a bit worrisome about is, it's going to have the same modem that's in the Pixel 8a, and the Pixel 8a has very good connections. I've posted speed tests on X recently since the Mobile X switch over and the change up on their plans and their data allotment. I run speed test after speed test. And one of the coolest things is that with Mobile X that I've noticed is that my connection with the Pixel 8a has gotten me speeds where it's like 927 megabits per second on the download and 45 to 60 megabits per second on the upload. And that's connected to N77 mid-band 5G. So, I'm pretty impressed with the network access through Mobile X, but that's with the Pixel 8a. When I've had recently, T-Mobile has made some changes in my area. I threw my Helium mobile SIM card in my Pixel 8a, been getting speeds of like 1,116 on the down and 100 megabits per second on the upload, right? So really, really hitting some high speeds there. Latency on the low side, 19 milliseconds to 17 milliseconds on Metro, and also on Helium. And then I'm hitting about an average of 23, like 19 to 23 on Mobile X with Verizon's network. So my Pixel 8a does pretty good on connectivity. It does get slightly warm when I'm in an area that has poor reception and I'm actually using the device, right? It doesn't warm up just because I'm in an area of poor reception. It's when I'm doing something heavy, like if I'm going to try to watch YouTube, if I'm trying to edit a video on YouTube Create app or CapCut, because I use those two to edit my videos. If I'm doing something like that, then it will heat up, it will warm up. But if it's just sitting in my pocket with low, minimal 1 bar reception, it doesn't warm up. It doesn't start to get hot. So I just want to kind of clarify that. But the overall part is that the modem in the Pixel 8a, while on paper you would think it's not the greatest, for connection, the actual truth of using it is that it's pretty damn good. And comparing it recently to me using my Pixel 7 alongside the Pixel 8 and looking at the reception, yes, it is a huge difference of the modem used in the Pixel A series that will be used in the Pixel 9a versus the modem that's in the Pixel 7 alongside the Tensor G2. This is something that I will firmly stand behind and say. So with the Pixel 9a rumored to be using the modem that's similar to, the same modem that's in the Pixel 8a, to me is not detrimental. Of course, advancement is always good. If they were to say, oh, we changed our mind, we're going to put the same modem that we put in our Pixel 9s in the 9a, of course, I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to stand there like a buffoon and be like, oh, no, man, go back to the one that you said you were going to originally use that came from the Pixel 8a. Like, I wouldn't say that. But the fact that they're going that route to keep a price point down, like, that's the thing. Like, I know what they're doing. When they make cuts, when they cut corners and they make certain things happen, it's because pricing. They are trying not to have the price go up higher. Right now would be the worst time for Google to raise the prices on the A series. They already did it with the 256 model at $549, and a lot of people weren't really happy with that. There's a lot of people that's not happy with the Pixel A series being at $499 currently where it sits now. So if Google was to price hike it, I can tell you guys, for a great phone that I know the Pixel 9a will be, it's going to flop. Not because of bad performance or, shitty build or anything like that. It's going to be because of the price and what people think it should be priced at. So staying where it's at right now is fine because the prices on the Pixel 9 went up. So If you let the flagship prices go up, but you keep the A series, which is the budget flagships, to be where they are, you're creating that gap that seems like, okay, makes sense now, type of thing. So do I expect it to be $499? Yes, I do. For 128 gig model, yes, I do. A lot of people are just like, they should go base model 256. Yeah, we do a lot of shoulda, coulda, woulda. They should do this. They could have done this, and it would have been this if it was for this. But you know what? Like, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. Google's gonna do what it's gonna do, because at the end of the day, they're trying to push units. They're trying to push Pixel 9s, the Pixel 9 Pro, the Pixel 9 Pro XL, the 9 Pro Fold. They're trying to push those phones. And what they're trying to do is the demographic that will not spend $700, $800, $900 on a phone. They're trying to make something that is marketable to them. $499 is kind of reaching so far, and that's something that they know, Google knows, and Google's trying to accommodate. So of all the things.
Sorry, I didn't understand.
I wasn't talking to you, but thanks.
Okay, well, I'm sorry to have bothered you. Sorry.
No problem.
Okay.
But anyways, so yeah, with the Pixel 9a and everything that it's going to be, the new colors, right? Peony. So there's a nice one that's like pink, and it was listening. But there's a peony color, and I think that's great for the women out there that love that pink color, can rock it, and guys that like the pink color too. It's there for you guys too, so you can rock it. They got the porcelain white, they got the obsidian black, which are the stock base colors, and then you got this new one, this iris color, which is like a blue violet color. Shane Craig, another YouTuber, you guys are probably familiar with him. Dropped the video piece that I just watched on my TV. I'll tell you guys about my TV that I got. I'm so happy with it. But anyways, and so yeah, he decided to share. Google's noisy chat. Oh man, I gotta share that. Yeah, she can be. But anyways, yeah, so Shane Craig basically shared, he downloaded files. I didn't download those files. I didn't know they existed, because for this whole weekend, I didn't pay attention to anything really tech. I was having fun this weekend with my wife. So, he got the files. They have the wallpapers that's coming to the Pixel 9a, right? And we all know, those who follow Google Pixel phones, whether you're a fan of them or not, but that there's wallpapers that tend to match the colorway of the device, right? Google's not the only one that does it. Samsung does it. Apple does it. So anyway, Shane Craig got a hold of what's to be the official wallpapers for the Pixel 9a. And so through those wallpapers, you can get an idea of how the color of the device is going to be. Do I think it's a bad idea that, they didn't come out with a red one or a yellow one? I don't think it's a bad idea that they didn't come out with that, but I will say that it is something that, some people want. Maybe not everybody wants, but some people want. But this kind of like goes back to what I was saying earlier about, the look of the device not being the most important thing. Because there's options out there. If it's something that you don't like, then you don't have to buy. You can go wherever you want to go. And then there's, those people that's like, they don't care as long as the phone's functional, right? So, yeah, I also got to keep that in mind. So the colors don't really bother me. We're looking at a March 2025 release date, right? So a couple of months before its usual release date, which kind of correlates with what happened recently, right? Like normal is usually when Google has their gotta make sure I didn't activate it, but they make sure they're doing their made by event, right? And that's where they release. That's where they release, the look, the discuss the new features within the device, right? We get it this time of year, but it actually happened 2 months ago, right? So the A series usually launches around Google I/O in May. Going 2 months back would be March. So they're doing this 2 month back type of thing. So we can start expecting March for the A series and August for the flagships. Hopefully, if it worked out for the big G company. If it didn't, they may alter their calendar again next year with the next bit of devices, but we'll have to see. So those are my thoughts on the Pixel 9a so far with all the rumors. But that's the big key part there. They're all rumors. On Leaks got images and leaked it, but it's not the definite thing. And then of course I would say this, that the G company really doesn't care about leaks because it's getting the name of their device out there in people's mouths and in their brains as they're reading along and following their favorite tech creator and listening to what they have to say about it. So I don't think they're too worried about the leaks, right? That's just me. Anyways, let me take a look at this here. I'm on Metro's Bring Your Own Device $25 plan. It's wonderful. I'm at 40 gigabytes for the month and haven't been throttled, so it's great. It does get throttled. Don't get the misconception there that they don't throttle. Okay, so there is our slang terminology about throttle where we say if it's throttled, it means you're slow down for the rest of your build cycle. But there is the true MSP's version of throttle, and throttling back is basically deprioritized. Okay, so in moments of congestion, you will be slowed down on Metro. In moments of congestion, now if you leave the congested area, or if more people leave out of that area, then your speeds will return to normal. But the cool thing the cool part about that $25 plan that Metro's offering is that the deprioritization is not terrible. They don't slow you down to 512 kilobits per second. Like if you're averaging 100 megabits per second on a download speed on Metro, if they deprioritize you'll probably get slowed to like 40 megabits per second, which is still doable for everything that you would do on a smartphone. So you don't really feel the pinch. But if you did something heavy that would require a huge amount of like data per second rate, you would notice. But there's not really anything out there right now that we do on our smartphones that requires gigabit speeds. There's not. Even mobile gaming on a device does not require gigabit per second speeds as if you were online gaming from a console like a PS5. There you would benefit from that. Yeah. So you're almost tempted to try Mobile X. I mean, Mobile X is not bad at all whatsoever, which we'll roll into here right now. So, I've been on every plan that Mobile X has had since I started with them when they were in beta. This was way back. Was not way back, but it was over a year ago. Give or take. What's over a year ago? Over 2 years ago. Almost 2 years ago. Yeah, almost 2 years ago. 2022 is when I signed up with Mobile X, and I've seen them come from what they are to what they were to what they are now. Now, a lot of people are kind of poking fun at Mobile X because they're like, "Oh, weren't these the guys that were like pushing for their, pay for what you need, customizable plan?" They still are pushing that plan. As a matter of fact, they still are. And with this current promotion with Mobile X, it is it literally, try it out for 10 days, right? They're still pushing it. The thing about the most current thing with Mobile X is that currently right now with their personalized access plan, that's what they call it. You buy your data for what you need, right? So if you feel like you're only going to use 3 gigabytes in a month because you're always on home Wi-Fi, then you can buy 3 gigabytes of data only. It's $2.10 per gigabyte. But currently right now on personalized access, you get double. They'll match what you purchase. So if you buy a gig of data, which is $2.10, they will match you and give you a gig of data. So you'll get 2 gigs for $2.10. That is $1.05 per gigabyte at this point. That's pretty dang good. They're already selling data at a nice price wholesale. Okay? Because you compare it to other companies out there like Google Fi, etc. They charge $10 per 1 gig, right? And you're getting $7.90 less than Google Fi if you do it through Mobile X. And you can choose if you want unlimited talk and text, or 100 minutes of talk, 100 text, or if you want 50 minutes of talk, 50 text. You can choose that up and down your plan the way that you want to do it. That's why it's called personalized access. And in order for you to get an idea of what you really use in a 30-day span, they have an AI model in their system that, during this 10-day trial where you try them out for 10 days, that AI learns your habits and how you use your phone as long as you use it normally. Now, if you sign up and do the 10-day trial and then you're fucking speed testing like every 2 minutes, that's not your real usage. But if you are doing things you normally do, if you're on Facebook, if you're on X, if you're on YouTube, right? And if you're connected to Wi-Fi when you're at home, because you always connect to Wi-Fi at home, then you need to continue the same habits. It will give you a 30-day span of what you would use in 30 days. And you might actually be shocked exactly how much mobile data you actually use in 30 days. Okay, some people do get it confused when they look at their data counter. They're like, oh, I use 230 gigabytes of data. And it's like, yeah, how many of that was on Wi-Fi? Like, you got to get the breakdown of that and then break down what was mobile. And, side note here was that a friend of mine recently joined Mobile X 4 months ago and is loving it. And, he needed something that was cheaper. He was actually going to go with another company, but I was telling him, like, because he liked Verizon. So I was telling him, like, why not try Mobile X? And I explained to him how the personalized access plan works and told him about it and everything like that. He tried it, the 10-day trial, because he was concerned. He was like, on my phone, it told me that I use like 122 gigabytes of data. And I was like, yeah, but how much of that was actual mobile data? So when he did the 10-day trial and he used his phone the way that he normally used it, connected to Wi-Fi when he's at home, used his phone when he went out and about, he was shocked to find out that he uses less than a gig of data. He uses less than 1 gigabyte. Okay, first of all, this friend of mine, okay, he's an elderly gentleman. I'm not going to say his age, not going to say his name, nothing like that. He's very meticulous about his privacy. But the most that I can say is that he goes food shopping once a week, and that's when he really uses the mobile data of his phone. Because then he's got these apps for the grocery stores that he goes to, and he clips his online coupon deals after my wife and I showed him how to do that. So now he saves when he gets his steak and when he gets hot dogs and bread, and he gets his pop, whether it's Coke or Dr. Pepper or whatever it is, but he's getting savings, right? That's the only time he's really using mobile data is in the grocery store. Then he's back home. And when he's back home, he's on Wi-Fi. He has Wi-Fi at home because he has, TV and internet bundled. So, his bill per month is $8.76 a month. On a guy who has fixed income, okay, he's retired. So that should tell you up there. That's pretty dang good savings considering he has to pay his rent and his utilities for the entire month on his monthly checks he gets. So having an $8 and some change phone plan works out for him. He's golden, and he's got some money left over to treat himself to a nice dinner like at the Angry Crab Shack or going to Red Lobster or whatever he wants to go. He can go twice a month, on the fixed income that he's collecting for retirement. So he's doing great. And he still gives me shout outs when he and I chat. Because he's saving a whole lot of money. And so, yeah, good dude. But besides that, Mobile X has also made some other big changes. Okay. Their big changes came in the form of their unlimited plans, which you see right here. Right. The unlimited 10 used to be the unlimited 5. It says includes 10 gigabytes of hotspot as well. And now they're outlining it. So there's been an update to all of this. So you get 10 gigs of mobile hotspot on the unlimited 10. You get 10 gigs of mobile hotspot on the unlimited. Why the unlimited changed from 30 gigs to now just saying unlimited? We'll get into that. First of all, for $14.88, you used to get 5 gigs of data, and then you were throttled, to 512 kilobits per second for the remainder of your bill cycle, unlimited talk and text. Okay, but they doubled that now. Now you're getting 10 gigabytes of data, and you get 10 gigabytes of mobile hotspot. So that's separate, and that's nice. Okay, honestly, that's nice. The reason why is because it doesn't tap into your 10 gigs of data. Like if you're worried about that, if you're trying to be on this $15 plan, basically, you don't have to worry that if you use hotspot to connect your laptop to it real quick to check an email or something, you don't got to worry about it tapping into your actual data that your phone is using. They're separated. And now the same thing goes with the unlimited plan, which used to be 30 gigabytes of high-speed data, and then you're slowed down for the remainder of your bill cycle. It is not anymore. It is widely, fully unlimited. And for $24.88, excuse me, for $24.88 a month, that's before taxes, because taxes are not included. I can see people now, oh my God, taxes are not included. What the fuck, man? Like, it's so bad. No, it's not. Trust me, it's not. I pay $25.06 a month. All right. That's how much taxes is on top of the $24.88 where I live at. So taxes and fees vary from state to state. Yell at your local state legislator. Yell at them for the tax amounts, but it's not going to be anything drastic where it's like $7 in taxes and fees and federal fees and all kinds of stuff. It's very, very minimum taxes. Okay, so just putting that out there. However, compare this, and like I'm kicking myself in the butt because my wife let go of her visible line. She had the $25 visible line. She let go of it. This would have been a perfect way. So I may actually find someone's promo code and sign up for Visible and test out Visible. Not to test out to tell people that Visible is great, but to compare it to Mobile X's unlimited plan, because both plans are $25, but the speeds and the connection, now that there's no longer a third-party vendor in the middle, because that's what made, if you guys want to know like why Mobile X was having issues in the past, is because to access Verizon's network, they were actually going through a third-party vendor. They have ceased that relationship with the third-party vendor and are now directly plugged into Verizon's core network. So they are now directly with Verizon. And because of that, you've seen, those who have Mobile X and have tested it out have seen a drastic change in network connectivity. Whether you're connected to 5G ultra wideband, connected to N77, or if you're on LTE, like you will see a gigantic change in network quality with Mobile X. Comparing what I know of Visible recently in the last month and comparing what Mobile X has given me now, both on the Verizon network, the Mobile X unlimited $24.88 plan blows the Visible $25 flat rate plan out of the water when it comes to network quality and network connectivity. To have the similar experience to Mobile X's 5G ultra wideband connection on Visible, you would have to subscribe to the $45 premium plan. So at half the price of what Visible's offering, you get fully unlimited. And here's the other big part, because I love when people kind of come at me and they're like, yeah, well, $45 and you're getting premium. Okay, well, Mobile X is giving you the same access for less than $45, right? $20 less gets you the same access. But here's the other reason why Mobile X blows Visible out the water, and that's with the $45 plan on Visible, you get 50 gigabytes of premium data ultra wideband connection, according to their literature, right? Go to visible.com. Actually, I'll just pull it up and show you guys. So let's do that. And we'll go into Visible. Yeah, let's choose a plan. Right now, they got a promo, get 50% off the Visible Plus. And I'm pretty sure they're doing this right now for your first month because of Mobile X. But anyways, so it says right here, unlimited premium data on Verizon's 5G ultra wideband network, our fastest 5G. 50 gigs a month of premium data on Verizon's 5G and 4G LTE networks, right? So you would have to be connected to the ultra wideband N77 all the time in order to have unlimited. But if you were like on, say, band 5 or any of that, it's only 50 gigs. So let's say you live in an area that Verizon has not really updated the network out in that area, right? So now you're limited to 50 gigs on a $45 plan, which is so weird. So weird that they do that, because then the $25 one is just completely unlimited, but that's like low band 5G access. For this plan, $24.88 a month, you get, whether you're on low band, mid band, or millimeter wave, it's unlimited. Unlimited. You're good to go. Burn as much as you want. And I posted on X because my bill is due here in, I think, 9 days or less. And so in my Mobile X app, where I can govern my account, it shows me that the next plan I'm moving to, which is still the same plan because I made no changes, and it shows me what I get: unlimited talk and text, unlimited to 90 plus countries, Canada, Mexico included, and then where it says data, it's like 9999999.00 because it's unlimited, right? Hardly people reach that that 2 terabyte amount, 1 terabyte amount. And of course, you should know that it doesn't matter whether you're on prepaid or postpaid. If you are hitting 2 terabytes, 3 terabytes, these network companies, they'll kick you off. You don't believe me? Go check out Carlos S. Tech. He has tested this for everybody to see. He's tested Verizon, he's tested T-Mobile, and he's testing AT&T. And the way that he runs his tests is he's rigged, and this is so fucking cool. Carlos is like a genius. He rigged up where speed tests are happening quite frequently, and it's consistently doing a speed test, and it's always running day and night. He leaves it connected, his device connected, he leaves it on, it's running it, and it's just sapping up data, running speed tests to burn data, to see how long it takes for the company to email him and say, hey, we noticed that you've been using a lot of data, and under our policies, that's abusing our network, and therefore we have decided to close your account. Like, he's already gotten emails from Verizon on that. I think he's gotten emails from AT&T on that. I don't know about T-Mobile yet, but go check out his channel. He's Carlos S. Tech. Okay, check out his channel, and you guys will see like all the speed testing that he's done to test how much data can you use before you're considered abusing the network. What up, Neon Dang? What's up? Welcome in. So anyways, yeah. But again, it's unlimited with Mobile X. It's unlimited, and now I'm told that this is a promotion. I don't know how long it's going to last. I believe it's going to last until December 31st, and then they're probably going to re-strategize their plans. Probably. What I would say to Peter Adderton, CEO of Mobile X, who is my former boss, I would say to him is, if you're wanting the growth that you want with Mobile X, the unlimited plan needs to stay. Okay. The way that it is right now, it needs to stay. Because people are still bound by that, fully unlimited mentality. And that's the mentality that I know he's trying to break and show people that you can save more money by just being on the personalized access. But here's the thing. Before, while you're pushing for people to learn that they're not using a lot of data, so they shouldn't be paying high prices for it, get them in. Okay, it is better to reach a crowd of people inside a building because your voice can be heard to the back of the row than it is to stand outside and shout your message and probably not ever be heard. And that's what this $24.88 plan is doing. So right down here, if you go to mymobilex.com and you look right here, it tells you all about the plan, and the fine print tells you guys that offer is available through December 31st. International roaming is available for an additional cost. So, and I know that this is something that they're testing out right now. They're wanting to see people's reactions. They're wanting to see if people look at this $24.88 plan and actually join it. But a lot of people will look at this and think that, okay, maybe it's same as Visible. And that's why I'm talking about this, is to tell you guys it's not. My experience on this plan, the unlimited plan, has been amazing. The network quality is good wherever I've gone, as long as Verizon is there. Okay, I've gone to places where Verizon is not that capable, yet it's still capable. So, if that makes any sense, it's really good service, and you guys will not be disappointed on that. Okay, hands down. So my experience with Mobile X, I'll give it 5 stars out of 5 stars. Things that I love about Mobile X, takeaways. 1, obviously, it's prepaid, right? Pay for what you're gonna, use first, then use it. Number 2, their app. Okay, I don't care about the color of their app. Some people are like, oh my God, I can't stand all this green. Dude, get over yourselves. I don't care that it's green. That is the company's color logos, right? Black and green. That don't bother me. But the fact that you can see your data usage in real time in the home page of the app, which is also insane, because the same things I do on my phone with Mobile X, and I do it, say, on Google Fi, and Google Fi in one day will say that I've used 5 gigs of data doing the same things that I do on a normal daily basis, and MobileX is like, oh, well, you've only used 2.1 gigs in a day. And it's like, wait a minute. Yeah, so their data calculation is very different. All right. But yes, the app is pretty sweet. It does a lot of things. I can control, literally. I'll show you guys right now. Let me switch this up just a second here. And I make sure that I don't show any pertinent information. Let's go here. Let's go there. Yeah, this is not going to show. There we go. Okay. So, at the main home page, at the bottom, it has something that's called Video Optimizer. I can change my video playback speeds. I can choose best quality at 4K. I can choose 1080p max. I can choose 720p max. I can choose 480p max. Whatever I want to do to save data or use data, I have that option. I can control my video playback. Other MVNO prepaids, they do it for you. They'll tell you, yeah, you get fully unlimited video playback at 480p default, and you can't change it. So yes, I can change my video playback. That's why, to me, MobileX hands down blows Visible out the water. In my opinion, is blowing Total Wireless out the water. In my opinion, is dang well blowing US Mobile out the water. And I know people are going to be like, no, I can't blow out US Mobile. They have Dark Star. They have T-Mobile connection. I know they have multiple different connections. I know that. I absolutely know that. Still, network quality, comparing US Mobile Verizon access to MobileX smokes them. And that's my opinions on it. So yeah, pretty insane. If you follow me on X or on Instagram, you could DM me your link if you want to, and if I decide to open up a Visible line in the next few days, I'll use your link. I'll hook it up. Anyways, yeah. Anyhow, yeah. So that's pretty much that. So winding down from the podcast. As in the title, it says, like, I'm going to share a story with you guys. So yeah, this is like story time, outside and away from tech. But I put in the title how, tech pretty much saved my life. Because this was around the time where, I made this decision to change. At 22 years old, I made this decision to change, and I let my real self come back, if you can say that, right? Like, I was born in the 80s, raised from the 80s into the 90s, turned 18 in the year 2000, and was a young adult through the early 2000s. And, one of the things that was frowned upon back in the day when I was growing up was, being a nerd, being somebody that was, into the techie stuff, wasn't cool. It literally put a bullseye target on your forehead, on each cheek, and on your back, and on your ass cheeks. Everybody was gunning to mess with you because nerds, geeks, we were easy targets, and I will. Do you have a referral link for our MobileX? MobileX does not give out a referral link. So there's no referral link that I have that I can give you to have any type of discounts as is. So really, when signing up, it's going to be $25, right? The only thing that I have that I'm giving away as a gift to everybody that watches my podcast is, 1 month free on Helium Mobile. That's something that I worked out with Helium Mobile for everybody. So I mean, if you guys want, I gotta add this back on the way that this is. Anyways, I'll put that there. But if you want to try Helium Mobile, you can earn crypto with Helium Mobile and get your first month for free. My promo code's in the description. When you sign up for Helium Mobile, use my promo code at checkout, and that'll get you your first month for free. But anyways, so I was saying, geeks, nerds, and all that, we were always targeted. And when I was younger, I was stupid, I was naive, and I succumbed to the idiocy of changing who I am and who I was. And I say change because it started off as a facade. It eventually became me. Because the more and more you live your life in the mud, like the more and more you keep your feet in the mud, the dirtier your feet will get. And the more you'll sink. So it was around 12 years old that I decided that, I was done. I was done being picked on. I was tired of it. So I started to act out. I clicked up with some people that weren't good. I learned the ropes. I became a criminal at a young age. And I did a lot of bad things. And it was progressing. Like, when I think about it now and what happened to me back then, it scares the living daylights out of me what I would have become. Because I was literally going down that path, and I wasn't going full throttle and getting to that point of no return quickly. Which I'm thankful I wasn't that stupid to go that fast, but it was progressing. It was progressing to that, and it was getting worse and worse and worse. Little petty crimes like shoplifting and stuff like that here and there. Eventually becoming assaults, burglaries, terroristic threatenings, all those charges I was catching the older and older I got. And it got pretty bad. It got pretty bad where like I was starting to deal with actually like hurting people, because when I lived in New Mexico, I was dealing. Not like shit. Not like shit at all whatsoever, right? I guess if anything, white powder I guess the best way I can explain it, keeping it PG for YouTube. But I was actually doing that and carrying, and I was like, every day was just always like a constant state of paranoia, right? Driving, and like I couldn't do the things that other people did. Like I couldn't go and like really rev my engine and like street race somebody down the street just because they had a fast vehicle, I had a fast vehicle, and we were just gonna like do a quick quarter mile. I couldn't do that because I was carrying. I had things on me that could have put me away for a long time, and thank God I never got stopped. Thank God I never got stopped. I had my own method of how I was doing things. That way I can tell, if someone ratted me out, I can pinpoint who ratted me out very quickly. Like I had set up this whole scheme, but I was dabbling into that life, and I was dabbling into stuff, and no, never unalived anybody. But who knows if they would have came to that point. But it was in the tech space. It was my interest in mobile phones because I wanted to know how they worked. And this was before smartphones. So this is like when we had programs called CDMA Workshop, where I was like, flashing the PRL from like Metro PCS at the time onto a Verizon Razr V3M, making the V3M work on Metro when it wasn't supposed to be working on Metro at the time. I think Metro had the V3C, I think is what they had. And I like the V3M. But anyways, well, the V3M was the Fire Red edition, and I got it from Amp Mobile, which the CEO of MobileX founded that company before it shut down. But yeah, so I was doing things like that, like flashing the PRL on onto a Razr with CDMA Workshop. I was so fascinated with cell phones and premium cell phones, right? Messing around with like the phones like the LG Chocolate and the LG Envy, all these different devices. I was so curious with BlackBerry. I was trying to get like a Nextel BlackBerry to work on Boost Mobile push to talk prepaid service back in the day before they switched over to CDMA. I was doing that. Like there was just so much things about it, and little by little, it was pulling me away from all the dumb shit I was doing and bringing me back to a sense of balance and peace in my life. And then I was a big fan of the original trilogy of Star Wars, and then I didn't really mess with the prequel trilogies at all whatsoever because I was trying to hide that fact that I was into Star Wars, I was into Nintendo games, I was into comic book collecting, because I was always picked on all my life for liking these things from people. Like back then in the late 80s and early 90s, it was cool to be in a gang. It was cool to rep being a Crip or a Blood or whatever local gang there was out there, basically by race, right? Like I was around Filipinos, so there was a Filipino gang called Pinoy, which was all Filipinos. It had other races in there too. There was like Koreans and stuff like that, and then there was like other gangs, like the Chinese gang called the Watching, which they were pretty damn ruthless. You had another group of Asians, KP, Korean Pride. That's what they called themselves. They said they weren't a gang, but they sure as hell acted like it. But yeah, there was just so much of that, and it was idolized, and it was exalted, and so more people were interested in that, and that's why I was just like, I was always like joking with my friends and be like, I was born in the wrong time. I should have been born in like the early 2000s because in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, being a nerd was cool, right? And they started to change the whole concept of a nerd and started calling them hipsters and all this other stuff, right? But they were into, recycling. They were into technology. They were into Star Wars. They were into Marvel. They were into all kinds of things. And I was just like, man, that's the era that I wanted to be in. But unfortunately, I was born in the 80s. And then it was about being the badass, Like I always say this, any of the women that I dated in my past, I felt like would have never dated me if I was my true self. And that's the reason why that I'm not with them today. That's why, even the one that, I, was dating for like 2 years and was like sure that I was going to marry this girl. We're not even together. We live different lives and where we're going down different paths. It would have never worked if I had been who I really am. And that's, the reason why, like, with my wife, like she doesn't believe me because, she always feels like that I can do better. I can't. It's not that I can't, say I don't want to, because she lets me be who I am. Doesn't matter what I do. Like, she was there through all of it. Okay. She's seen all of it. Right. She's seen in my early 20s, me and my brother Ruben, like we were trying to start a rap career. We uploaded music that we made. And no, I will never share that because it's bad. It's terrible. Maybe I'll share it. If I hit 100,000 subscribers ever, maybe I will release the entire underground album that I recorded and posted online, and then now look back at it and be like, man, I suck. I wasn't good at it. And I'm glad it never went anywhere. Even though some of the songs I made, and I got comments from people and they were like, yo, this is dope. I didn't really see it that way. And I wasn't even recording with the studio, right? I didn't have a studio set up. If you guys want to know, if I ever reach 100,000 subscribers and I release the songs, I will tell you guys right now before that ever happens. All those songs were recorded in such a weird way. I used video editor apps and I overlaid recorded vocals from a smartphone microphone on top of a beat. And I would like edit the volumes of the beat versus my audio versus my vocals. And I would try to smooth all that out with the background removal or anything like that to try and crispen it up. And I uploaded those as songs, and some people like them. Some people talk some shit, and I'm like, yeah, well, I agree with you. I suck ass. I don't sound good. Like I'm not a rapper. So I tried. It was fun doing it. Like, trust me, it was fucking fun making songs and stuff like that. It was really cool. It was really cool sitting down and actually writing down my thoughts. And I think there was like one song that I completely just, freestyled on it. Just whatever came to mind just flowed out. And yeah, she saw me through that, and she never made fun of me. She never said that I wasn't going to make it. Her thing was like, if this is what you want to do, I'm behind you. And like I know my songs were trash, and yet she was going on a platform and she was liking them, and I was like, damn. And but she's like that. And then when I started YouTube in 2010, and she was behind me on that, and even till today, she may not watch all of my videos because she's not into mobile tech the way that I am, but she always makes it a point to come on and give me 3 minutes of her time and to smash like buttons. She goes on my TikTok and she likes my videos there. She goes on Clapper and likes my videos there. And she goes on Instagram and likes my Instagram reels and my posts. She does it to show support. Because she can always just, like on Instagram, she can always just like the photos that are just like regular photos of like, me and the kids and her out on a family night out or whatever. And, she could do that. But she also likes the stuff that I talk about. Like if I'm like, oh, Mobile X just, change their plans, she'll like that reel. She allows me to be me. And that's the reason why I got this relationship that I'm in, this marriage that I'm in, this family that I built with her is the happiest that I've been. And I feel like that, I wouldn't have met her if it wasn't for all the tech stuff. Because it was me dabbling into tech and learning about certain things. It was me dabbling into the online culture, which, yeah, it can be toxic if you don't have balance in your life. But like, the fact is there were chat boards and stuff like that I would go on. That's how she and I, started interacting with each other before I decided to make the trip all the way to Arizona. Since her birthday and my birthday are close together, we were gonna throw a party and invite all our chat board friends that lived in Phoenix to come to this birthday bash that we were doing, and we did it. We made the party happen, and I met a lot of people from that chat board, and then things developed between me and her, and here I am now, still with her, 3 biological kids together. I adopted her oldest son as my own. And then, she adopted basically my oldest son, right? So my 5 kids total. The things that we do in life is why I always try to project this to my kids. And it's a tough time for my daughter right now because, she hears me saying like, hey, don't lose that golden light about you. Like, stay who you are and do what you want to do. And never mind trying to be like everybody else, but I'm a very emotional dad, and I get pissed off and yeah, I cry sometimes, like when my daughter texts me that nobody wants to hang out with her because they've been talking about her in gym class and they're saying that she's weird, because she's not wearing, a crop top showing midriff. She's not wearing fucking skirts that hikes up and shows her ass cheek. She's not, showing her areas, like cleavage and stuff like that. She doesn't dress that way. She's into, she wears her t-shirts, her anime t-shirts, and they're full t-shirts. There's no showing of anything other than her arms and her head. She's into Cinnamon Roll, which is a character from those little Sanrio characters like Keropi the Frog, Pochako, Hello Kitty, like those characters. There's another character called Cinnamon Roll, and she buys all Cinnamon Roll stuff. And she watches a lot of anime. She plays with toys, and she's 14. And it broke my heart one day when my daughter asked me if there was anything wrong with her because she still likes to play board games and stuff like that. And I was telling her there's nothing wrong with her. She's 14. 14 doesn't mean you have to grow up and be an adult. Like, yeah, you get some responsibilities like washing the dishes before your mom gets home. You can, make your younger siblings lunch. Like if you want to make them a grilled cheese sandwich, if you want to, put a frozen pizza in the oven, you're of age to be able to do that. But you don't need to be worried about being an adult. You don't need to be worrying about sex and things like that, which I'm glad she's not. She's not even interested in having a boyfriend. She had one last year in 7th grade, and she didn't like the fact that he was failing all his subjects. And then she lied to him and said, oh, my dad says I can't date a guy who's failing, so you need to get your grades up. And then she gave him a whole quarter of the year to get his grades up, and he was still failing. And so she broke up with him at the end of the year last year, 7th grade. Her summer began with her breaking up with her boyfriend. And he still regrets it now. Like, he still talks to her. He still tries to, be sweet with her, but she's not interested. And she's not interested in any other guys. And I told her there's nothing wrong with you. Like, some girls, they want to grow up fast, and they want to put all the makeup on their face and look like they're putting their, they're going into battle. And I told my daughter that's why, I call it war paint, because it's like they're ready to go to war. And I explained to her, like, women's mentality sometimes, they don't, when they see a good guy, they don't say, like, for instance, if a woman has a man, who's here? My 5-star security alarm, my chihuahuas. But I told my daughter this, like, there are women who will have a good man, and when they bring their boyfriend or good man around their friends, when their friends look at this good man and see how he treats their friend, they don't sit there and say, I gotta find me a man like him. Their mentality is, I've got to have him, and they will cut each other's throats to do it. As I explained to her, like, when you have a good man and you bring him around your friends, be careful, because yes, they're your friends and they mean well, but women are very competitive for a good guy. And if it's a good guy in all of your group of friends' eyes, they don't want somebody like him. They want him. So, I was telling her that, and I was like, that's why these girls, in middle school are experimenting with freaking makeup and, dressed scantily clad and everything like that. And her thing is, she doesn't want to do that, but like, she has a tough time because people don't want to be her friend in that school, which is the other reason why I want to move out of the city, because it's city mentality here. I live in the 5th largest city in the United States. According to statistics, it's the 5th largest city. So this is very metro built. Everything here is a city lifestyle, and people have that city mentality, and they all want to grow up so damn fast. I'm not afraid to share my past with my children. My children know majority of my past. They don't know the darker things I've done, but they know the stupid decisions that I made. And one of the things I harp on them about so much is that I don't want them to grow up so fast. So I told my daughter, I was like, you ever see me act very immature? Your mom gets irritated. She's like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, well, I tell everybody on social media that I'm handicapped by natural immaturity. And what I mean by that is that I gave up a lot of my childhood because I wanted to grow up so fast that now some would say, oh, Tito, don't worry about it. It's a midlife crisis. No, mine is far beyond a midlife crisis, because I never got to do those things. Like, instead of, getting, riding skateboards and playing basketball, the basketball courts, I was so concerned about, looking like an adult, smoking cigarettes at a very young age. I started smoking cigarettes when I was 11. Honestly, I don't even know if I have cancer right now. I wouldn't know if there's like irreparable damage to my lungs. I mean, I know there is. Trust me, I can't run like I used to. I get winded pretty fast, and I know that's my lungs, and I do what I can to try and make my lungs better. But I haven't touched a cigarette since, I want to say, 11 years ago. I've been off actual cigarettes for 11 years. Yes, I've been vaping. Vaping doesn't have the same chemicals that cigarettes has. They use chemicals to cut tobacco and dry it out, so that way they can roll them into cigarettes and sell them quickly, right? Mass productions of tobacco products, right? One of the things that they use is a chemical that, has carcinogens in it. And that's what, literally causes things like emphysema, lung cancer. E-juice, like the actual vaping juice that you put in these mods. The reason why I vape them is because there's only, I think, 3 or 4 ingredients. There's propylene glycol is one of them. There's what is it? They used to have them on the label. I don't know if they still do. Oh, so there's propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, flavoring, whichever flavor, like cherry, bubble gum, whatever flavor they concoct up. And then there's nicotine added in. Like this bottle right here I vape on is 6 milligrams of nicotine in here. And then the rest of it is, the vegetable glycerin, the propylene glycol. Why these 2 things? Well, the propylene glycol is what carries the flavoring, right? So you can taste the flavor on your palate. And the vegetable glycerin is what creates like the thick cloud vape. So like if you're somebody that wants to, like, we remember back in the day when people used to have vaping contests and they would build their mods, they would hit it and blow like this giant fucking cloud. they were using e-juice that was like 90% vegetable glycerin, or VG is what it was called, and then they were using 10% propylene glycol for the flavor. The ratios normally are like 75-25. That's what's in here. 75 vegetable glycerin, 25 propylene glycol, and then you got your flavoring and nicotine. Um, but I've been on that. There's nothing else to it. Okay. Why are there running ads that, when you're vaping, you're inhaling harsh metal chemicals and harsh metals and stuff like that? They want everyone back on tobacco. There's a whole documentary about that. If you guys actually are interested and want to know about it, you guys can look it up. But one of the ways that the government was getting funding was by the fines that big tobacco corporations were hit with. So this was money that the U.S. government relied on for spending, right? It's why my dad always told me growing up, like, if you're paid $10 an hour and your paychecks every 2 weeks is like $800-900, like, if you get a bonus, don't start adding on bills where you would require that bonus to be a part of your regular pay every single time. Like, it's a bonus. You're not always going to get it. And I understand when I watched this documentary about big tobacco corporations and why big tobacco is against the vaping industry, which is why they hounded the U.S. government. They lobbied them to go after vaping and to really put their foot on the neck of the vaping industry. It's because, let's say, like, hypothetically, every year, big tobacco companies like Philip Morris and all them pay the U.S. government $450,000 a year. Okay, let's say that, hypothetically speaking. I know it's more than that, but let's just say that. Since vaping came along and people were like, oh, I can quit smoking cigarettes and switch to this, more and more people wouldn't mind being around me because the smell of this smells like, vanilla custard and blueberry, or it smells like raspberry or cherry, strawberry, key lime, whatever. So more and more people started switching to vaping. So that means that the $450 that big tobacco corp was giving the U.S. government was now getting smaller. Then the following year, they gave $321,000. The year after that, they gave $115,000. It was getting smaller and smaller. So this is why, the government would bend to the lobbying of these big tobacco corporations, because they're like, oh, okay, yeah, we're not getting our fat checks from you like usual. So sure thing, we'll go ahead and regulate and call something like this a tobacco product. To call this a tobacco product is pure idiocy. There's not one simple thing of tobacco in this at all whatsoever. That's why on the label they have it printed, it's tobacco free. There's no tobacco in it. It's just basically 4 things: propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, flavoring, and nicotine. And if people are like, well, propylene glycol and vegetable glycerin are dangerous. They're in everyday foods and everyday, toiletries and things like that you use. Toothpaste has propylene glycol. Mouthwash has it. Vegetable glycerin is in foods that you eat. So if you're willing to eat it, how are you going to tell me it's going to kill you if you inhale it? The algorithm keeps showing me your vids. Just letting you know, YouTube shows you some love. Oh, nice. I didn't know that. Sorry, I was just kind of going off in my tangent rant. Sorry about that. ADHD, I go through that. So, like, I'm always in my head. Oh, what flavor is this? This one's called OG Steve. So my favorite vape shop here in Phoenix is a place called Red Star Vapor. Favorite, hands down. I love the staff there. They're really cool to talk to and chill with. But their in-house made e-juice is really delicious. So this one, its flavor profile is blueberry custard with lemon zest. So my flavor profiles I like are more of the fruit dessert type. So, like, there's another one called Ego, which is honeydew melon and strawberry and I think raspberry. That's a really good one. People, when I vape, what's called Ego, when I vape it and people smell it, they love the smell of it. They're like, oh my god, that smells so good. I'm like, yeah, that tastes pretty good too. But yeah, some people love the minty ones. I don't like the freeze ones that make it feel like menthol, because I wasn't a menthol cigarette smoker. I smoked Marlboro Reds, Newport Reds. If I had to go generic, God, I don't even remember some of the generic names. Whatever there is out there. So, but yeah. Wow, I went on a left field rant thingy. But anyways, and yeah, even something like this is considered tech, right? This box, this mod box, it's got a chip, it's got all kinds of circuitry built into it, basically to help run. So that way, the 18650 batteries that's in here, they they look like AAA's. I gotta switch my battery out anyway, so I can show you what they look like. But they look like double A batteries, but they're like all fat and everything like that. These goes inside it, but the chip inside there is to make sure that these don't overstress and explode. And people are like, way back in the day, they used to be afraid of vaping because they're like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna vape. I don't want a mod to explode and blow my jaw out. And it's like those mods did not. These weren't the type of mods that were exploding in people's mouths. These, the ones that were the ones that people homemade built, because you can get a vaping tank where you build your own coil. You can use Kanthal wire, depending on what gauge size wire, and you can wrap it maybe like 6 or 8 times, creating a coil. And then you would put organic cotton through it as a wick, and you would pour your juice on the cotton, and you would put the cap back on your tank, and then it would have these metal pipes, and all it was these batteries inside that pipe. There was no chip, nothing to regulate it. They would put it inside the pipe, and when they pushed down on their tank, it would make a connection to the battery, and it would heat the coil. So it was unregulated power going through it. That if you had like batteries that were warped or overused or whatever whatnot, those would explode with that much pressure on the battery, and then yeah, it would explode in people's hands and blow fingers off, or it would, you know, blow out someone's teeth, part of their jaw. But that's just because of the sub ohm vaping homemade mods that people were building for those vaping competitions and whatnot. These ones that have regulated chips inside of them, they did not explode unless you did something to them. Like if you threw them against the wall or something, they would explode. Yeah, these things did not. So, anyways, from what I could have been to what I am now, I am happy that I found tech. I am happy that there's people that like to listen to me talk about tech. I am happy with all this because I'm glad that I didn't end up where the path I chose was taking me. Today I get to be a good husband to my wife. I get to be, a good father to my children. I try my best all the time. Everything that I do, every side hustle that I do is all for them. Use disposables. Yeah, disposables are actually really good. Trust me, it's probably a lot better because you don't have to keep buying coils. You don't have to worry about breaking a glass tank. You don't have to worry about your mod, charging port crapping out. You don't have to worry about the stuff disposals. You buy it, take it out the box. It's good for like 5,000 puffs. Throw it away when you're done and get another one, right? And it hits about as hard as this does. I've seen people like hit huge clouds out of disposables. A lot of my friends back home in Hawaii, they do more disposables than they do, these. I still stick with these just because, yes, I am still addicted to nicotine. I'm more of a visual. So like when I smoke cigarettes, it was always in a social environment, and it was seeing the smoke exhale that I guess was like a trigger thing of mine. So that's why like I use these mods in a vape and it's clouds. It hits that point. Will I eventually stop vaping? Probably. When I'm ready to. I feel like that the only way people are successful at quitting any addiction is if they really want to quit it. If they're forced to quit it, they're gonna cheat. They're gonna go a few days without it, then they're gonna start thinking to themselves, "Well, one hit won't hurt me," and they'll go and do it. You have to want to do something in order for you to achieve it. And I know that I'm not ready to stop, so that's just me. But anyways, you know, I get to be a great dad to my kids. Um, I'm trying to navigate my daughter through her adolescent years. I want to kick the shit out of some brats, all the time. I'm like, it'd be so cool if like I can turn 13 for one day, and then the guys that pick up my daughter, I would go over there and just yeah, handle it like we used to handle it at 13. Um, but I love my daughter very much. Like she means the world to me. Even my youngest daughter, I love her very much too, even though she has my temper. My youngest daughter has my temper. I feel sorry for whoever marries her in the future because she's got my temper really, really bad. And she's a fighter of them too. Like she's the one that she got into her first fight in sixth grade and like prided herself in that she beat up the girl that was like three times her size. Because my youngest daughter does not look like she's 12. My youngest daughter looks like she's 10, like 9 or 10 years old. My 10-year-old son looks older than my 12-year-old daughter. So it's just like it's so weird. Uh, nice. Not smoking the devil's lettuce. I like that. That's a nice analogy. Yeah, it's pretty much that, man. It's just that's why I vape during my podcast because I'm being social right now. Um, but yeah, my youngest daughter has anger problems. My youngest son, you know, he's kind of like his older sister, so he's dealing with kids in his school. Like in fourth grade, the kids are into different things than what he's into. Like he's into watching the regular show. He likes Spider Man. He likes Ninja Turtles. He plays Minecraft and Roblox for fun. He likes to play chess. I have a chessboard set that he always practices with me. He tries to get me in a 5 move checkmate. He's like trying to create strategies on how to do that. Um, he likes reading comic books, and he's only got like one friend, and his one friend is also somebody that the kids in his grade pick on, so they kind of stick together. Birds of a feather flock together type thing. They do their own thing. They hang out at the playground. He has another friend. Her name is, well, I'm not gonna tell her name, but he always blushes when I call her his girlfriend. I think he does have an attraction to her. Like he's getting up in age, so girls are starting to look pretty to him, but not worth dating and calling his girlfriend. Um, but yeah, he's dealing with that. And I'm trying to help him navigate that because I straight up told him, like, you know what, like if you feel like hitting him, swing and hit and make it count and don't stop. Once you start hitting, keep hitting until a teacher pulls you off. That's what I told my son. Some people say, hey man, that's bad parenting. No, teacher can regulate that fight. Thing is that my son doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to like physically hurt anybody. He's the type of kid that like he'll try, like if you try to mess with him, like he'll try to joke with you to make you laugh so you would like him, so you would leave him alone. He's that type. He like tries to make people laugh to end anger and stuff like that. And sometimes that doesn't work. Sometimes it does work. Just depends on the day. But I wouldn't be who I am for my kids to be there for my kids now, especially now more than ever. Like I do feel that there is an importance for a father to be in my kid's life. And my wife absolutely feels that way. She does not feel like she does not ever tell me that she can raise these kids on her own. She never puts herself on that level. It's not because she doubts herself, but she knows how important it is for a father to be in the lives of his children, the same as it's important for a mother to be there as well. And so, you know, my parents, I grew up mostly with my dad, and every now and then when I had to live with my mom raised me, but I didn't grow up in a home having both parents. So it's important for me to give that to my kids. So they have their father and their mother, and they had them both while they were growing up, being raised. And then from there, going forward in life and doing what they want to do. My youngest daughter wants to be a cop. I'm like, hey, that's great. I mean, you're not scared of people and you're ready to defend yourself and you're ready to serve and protect others. So go ahead, do that. I think she's going to go into the military first, though. She wants to follow her Thea or her aunt. She wants to follow her. So my younger sister's in the military. She's a pilot for the B-52 bombers. So she's in the United States Air Force. And that's what she does. And, my oldest daughter, she wants to open a bakery. And so I'm like, yeah, got money, putting everything that we can away to help her get into college so she can, take classes like business administration and stuff like that. So she has fine knowledge of being able to run her own business and open her bakery. Now, what I've told her was if you have your bakery, When dad comes through the drive-through, I get my donut on the house. You give dad his donut on the house. Um, I got the pleasure of watching my second oldest son graduate high school. I didn't get to watch my oldest son graduate high school, but his mom did send me a picture of his high school diploma, so shout out to him. I want to watch my three younger ones graduate high school. I want to walk both my daughters when they're ready to be married and to start a life of their own. I want to walk my daughters down the aisle. I made it clear to them, I'll walk them down the aisle. And I told them if they see that my fingers are crossed behind my back, is because if they ask me, who gives this woman away, I'm going to say her father, but I'm not giving her away. That's still my little girl no matter what. Now, those two and my youngest son are the ones I would say no one should mess with right now. I don't want to say what I would do because you know what? You just don't flaunt that, right? You just act. If anything was to happen to them, it's all action, no words. I feel like that's the way to protect my kids. So every day I walk them to school. Every day I drive my son to the bus stop so he can take his bus to school. And I'm there after school to pick him up. That's why I love working remote jobs, because it allows me to be around them even if I'm working. Like right now I'm doing a podcast today. They can come in the room right now and ask me anything. I know they're waiting for me to finish up my podcast because we've already started our 31 days of Halloween. We've already started watching scary movies, and now that I got this new 55-inch TV, fucking cherry. I bought this 55-inch TV for my wife. We got it on a good deal. And I bought it as an I love you gift. She loves watching Hulu and her TV shows. So, yeah, I bought her this TV because we had a 32-inch in our room. The 32-inch, my younger son and my young daughter wants to take it and put it in another spot for them to watch movies. Because they have another TV in their room that they have the PlayStation, like the PlayStation 5, the Switch HD, and their other gaming consoles connected to that TV. And when, my second oldest son is home from college, because he goes to college, like he's at ASU right now. When he gets home, if he's not going to work for DPS, which is Department of Public Safety, he intern works for them. He comes home and he goes online gaming with his friends. And when he has a TV, now they have a second TV for them to just watch whatever they want without disturbing him. So they're setting up their little area in the living room where they're going to put this TV at to set up. What they don't know is that later on tonight, I'm going to go buy them a Chromecast Google TV. So that way we can hook it up to that. Because it's not a smart TV. It's like a flat screen regular TV. It's not smart at all. So I'll plug the dongle into that and they can watch like Hulu and Max and YouTube and whatever else. So, but yeah, they're setting up their little area. They're bringing out blankets and cushions and stuff like that so they can, make like a little cozy area for them to watch movies. But I know that they're ready to watch some scary movies. I know yesterday we watched Rob Zombie's Halloween version. We watched the first part. We didn't watch the second part. We watched The Exorcism of God, which is a really odd, strange, creepy movie. And then we watched part of Annabelle Creation. So I know they're waiting for me to finish Annabelle Creation and to watch some other movies. I think they want to watch Curse of La Llorona. They want to watch that one. And what is it? Cry Wolf? Oh no, Bad Moon. Sorry, they want to watch Bad Moon, that werewolf movie with because we have a German Shepherd named Velvet, and so they always bring Velvet to watch that movie when they feel like watching it, because the German Shepherd takes on the werewolf, which is the lady's brother. He gets bitten by a werewolf in an exploration, and he's cursed, and so their dog, the German Shepherd Thor, defends the family and fights the werewolf, and then there's an old movie from way back in the day called Watchers, which I was scared of when I was a kid. I remember my dad bought the movie. I thought it was like a fun movie to watch. So when my dad would always buy things and leave it on the TV and then go to work. So when I came home from school, I saw it there. So I popped it into the VCR and started watching it. And it's about a science lab that exploded, and two of their creations had escaped. One was a golden retriever dog that was super intelligent, and he had a tattoo. They tattooed it inside of his ear, and it's I think it's GH3 is what it says on it. And then there's an animal they call the oxcon, which is almost werewolf like. It's like gorilla werewolf hybrid. And what the government was doing was like the dogs were supposed to be so the weapon that they were creating was like a seek and destroy. The golden retriever would find enemies, and the oxcon was telepathically linked to the dog. So wherever the dog went, the oxcon would end up going in that area. So if they sent the dog into enemy lines, and the dog was in an encampment from enemies that we were at war with, it would bring the oxcons to that area. And the oxcons, they're savage, so all they know to do is to slash and rip people apart. They've never seen it, and it was a creepy movie, and it's on the agenda to watch tonight since they have a whole week off school for fall break. So that's pretty much it for today's podcast episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed everything that I talked about at the beginning of it. If you guys missed it, catch the replay where I talk about the Pixel 9a and what I think about it, and then also how the services of Mobile X has been since the change up. Thank you guys for those two who scanned the QR code for Helium Mobile. If you guys use my promo code and sign up, enjoy the services. At least it's, if you guys don't enjoy the services, hey, it's your first month free, so you didn't pay anything for it, so you're golden. But that's it for right now, guys. I will see you guys in the next one. More videos dropping later on this week. Just so you guys know, I popped my SIM card back into my Moto G Stylus 2024, and I'm actually going to start doing a comparison video between this and the Google Pixel 7. So be on the lookout for that video. I'll talk to you on the next one. Love, peace, chicken grease. Aloha.